In a day where Oklahoma got its answers at the quarterback position, seeing that Dylan Gabriel was going to Oregon and understanding Jackson Arnold is 100% your quarterback of the future, going to be playing in the bowl game, all Dylan Gabriel talk is put to aside. The Oklahoma Sooners now have new problems arising as Tyler Guyton and Andrew Raym have both declared for the NFL draft. We have to talk about it. We have to break it down and look at who the Oklahoma Sooners could be potentially going after, not only on the recruiting trail, but also in the transfer portal. And before we do that, guys, thank you for tuning into the PG Show, where we talk about all things college football. I am your host, Preston. Yeah, listen, we're trying a couple things out. This might seem a little different. If you guys like it, let me know. Join the discussion. Jump down in the comments and let me know what you guys think Oklahoma needs to do to replace Tyler Guyton and Andrew Raym. Andrew Raym, who has been a staple for this offensive line, and Tyler Guyton, a pivotal transfer for Bill Bedenbaugh when he came in from TCU. And if you have not already, you just need to hit that like and that subscribe button. All right, let's dive into it. So Tyler Guyton is the first one to announce, well, actually, it was Andrew Raym was the first one to announce his plans to go to the NFL draft, pursue his dreams, a kid out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And Andrew Raym, although he has made mistakes and has not been a fan favorite at times playing center for the University of Oklahoma, Andrew Raym has been pretty freaking good. Right. And Andrew Raym is now going on to pursue his career and his dream in the NFL. And we wish him the best. But I want to point out, and I was talking to Jay about this the other day, so many people put hate on Andrew Raym because of just some of the mistakes that happened. But in reality, everybody put this really high standard on the center position for Oklahoma after we saw Creed Humphrey. And if y'all remember what Creed Humphrey was and now what he is for the Kansas City Chiefs, my Kansas City Chiefs, he is the absolute enforcer to keep anybody from coming to hit Patrick Mahomes, and was the same thing for Baker Mayfield. And so you look at Andrew Raym having to fill those shoes. They were some big shoes to fill. And so I look at it and say, okay, you take out those lofty expectations. Andrew Raym was a phenomenal player for Oklahoma and better than most centers across the country. To fill his shoes, you're looking at Joshua Bates and Troy Everett. Who's going to win that battle in the offseason? And honestly, if it's not close, you almost wonder if the staff considers getting one more center in here to really come compete and drive competition to see, does anybody take the job leaps and heads abound above the others, instead of just leaving it two and potentially having two guys that are really close. Now, if you have two guys that are really close, but they're playing at elite level, then I feel like you feel good about it. But again, I don't feel like it's a good thing when you have two guys that could be playing that close to each other. So we'll have to watch and we'll have to see how the center position unfolds for Oklahoma going into next season. Who develops that chemistry the most with Jackson Arnold? It'll definitely be interesting to see how that's going to affect the bowl game. But then you have Tyler Guyton hitting the transfer portal. And if you all remember, Tyler Guyton came in from the transfer portal from TCU. He's now heading to the NFL draft. And all year long, we've talked about Tyler Guyton being a guy that could be a first-round pick. I think he's fallen to second round and then bounced back to first round a couple times. So honestly, I think Tyler Guyton's just going to be one of those guys where we're going to have to see exactly what kind of draft grade he really gets based on his measurables and how he performs at the combine and the pro days. Now, Raym's going to have to do the same thing, but I think you're not talking about Raym being a first-round pick. Guyton's the guy you're talking about being a first-round pick. And remember, at one point at TCU, Guyton was playing on the defensive side of the ball, so Guyton has some versatile talent, and he's going to be a force in the NFL. And I have no doubt in my mind the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be looking at Tyler Guyton and salivating over that if they can get him outside of the first round. Now, I do look at it, and I have looked at all of the, I'm not going to say portal exits, but a lot of the portal exits, and then some of the guys that just can't return, right, out of eligibility. And the offensive line has been hit pretty hard. You had Marcus Hicks from an offensive tackle. Remember, he transferred from the defensive side of the ball. He's hit the transfer portal. You saw Nate Anderson and Savion Byrd. Savion Byrd was a talent that everybody was really excited about. They're really excited to see what he would turn into. And ultimately, it's just like he got on the field and he did good things, but then like there was times where he made stupid mistakes, and it was really hard to keep him back on the field after that. So you see Nate Anderson, you see Marcus Hicks hit the field. You're losing Caleb Schaefer, McCade Matower, and Walter Rouse due to no eligibility. I expect to see all three of those guys get drafted as well. So the offensive line for Oklahoma has been hit hard. I believe he's only down to like 8 or 9 scholarship guys, if I remember correctly. Somebody might have to correct me on that. I know he's got a couple PWOs like Ty Kubicek. There's like a Riley. No, there's a Wormley kid. I remember. So he's got a couple PWOs as well. So, I mean, it's not like the offensive line room's been completely depleted, but you're not only looking at getting Eddie Pierre-Louis and maybe some of these other guys in the recruiting class like Eugene Brooks, or even Josh Isosa, or I know I'm missing somebody in through the recruiting class, but you've got Spencer Brown committed to you in the portal. The question is, who does Oklahoma look at in the portal outside of Spencer Brown? And I think you immediately turn to his teammate Gino Vandemark, who also played for Michigan State, is a sophomore, so he'll be going into his junior year, so he'll have at least 2 years with Oklahoma, which I think you're wanting to see Oklahoma potentially take more guys that have 2 to 3 years of eligibility. I think they just want to play in that area instead of just getting 1-year rentals and turning guys over. You also saw Hayes Fawcett talk about it, but the guy by the name of, sorry guys, I have to take a step here and get a break, but Chase Bisontis, he's heard from over 26 schools since entering the transfer portal. He's a talented offensive lineman out of Texas A&M. He was in the class of 2023. He's heard from over 26 schools, including Oklahoma and the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, the Colorados, they've been hot, but you look at Chase and he's got the size to be that offensive lineman. He's got the frame, right? He's explosive. He's good with his hands. He's got good foot movement. So this is a prospect that I think would be a home run hit. However, with that many schools in the running for that offensive lineman, it's not one that I'm necessarily counting my chips on Oklahoma going out there and landing. Now, another name that we talked about the other day that I think is one Oklahoma fans that you guys need to keep your eyes on, that is Fabichi Nwewu. I think that's how you say it. Jay and I were kind of going back and forth on this the other day. I think you said it to me right. The 6'3", 315-pound offensive lineman out of North Texas. He was there during Seth Luttrell's time, and they got an offer. So you would imagine that, hey, you're replacing a lot of talent on this offensive line. You're replacing a lot of depth. Oklahoma's probably going to go out there and take 2 to 3 guys in the transfer portal, plus trying to finish closing on Eddie Pierre-Louis and then getting the guys that you have already got committed in this class on campus. And then in 2025, you're really trying to overhaul this offensive line with the likes of Ty Haywood, Lamont Rogers, Michael Fasusi. You've got the 3 kids out of Bishop Gorman. You've got Andrew Bababaloa. So Oklahoma's got talent that they can look at. I think they will be able to replace it. But guys, I want to hear from you, because in my opinion, losing Tyler Guyton, losing Andrew Raym, that is a big deal. That is a massive loss for the Oklahoma Sooners. You're losing your starter at center. You're losing your starting right tackle. And Oklahoma, they've got to go out there and they've got to fill those holes in the offseason. But guys, jump in the comments, join the discussion. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And YouTube wants you to watch one of these videos right here. So make sure you guys tune into one of those.